Okay, welcome back, everybody. We're up to fundamental number 5. We really hope you're enjoying them so far. And this one is know your best player self. So what do you think about that, mate?
Well, how about these for a couple of examples? You've got Jason Duffner, who looks like he's going to fall off the back of a chair.
Yeah,
or someone like Keegan Bradley, who's fidgeting around and very keyed
looks
up.
like he's had 20 Red Bulls.
Exactly. So we do see differences, but these players have worked out what is their ideal level that they need to be at.
And obviously that fits in with who they are and their personality, and they would have a really good idea of what their optimal playing self is as well, and they can adjust that. So it's good to look at your idols, but it's also, you need to understand that they have extremely different personalities.
Yeah, of course.
So
they're under a lot more pressure
like somebody
as
else.
well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And as I said, they've found their ideal level. What we don't want is someone that's struggling where they're coming up and down with their levels. They're keyed up 1 minute, they're on and up, and then they're on a down a couple of holes later. And we see that a lot of kids these days, they're drinking Coke and raspberry
Sugary drinks,
and they're peaking, they're spiking, and then having downers.
What goes up must crash down, you know.
Absolutely, and they're really struggling with their concentration because of that. Lots of examples in the youngsters that we coach. Another example, a player that I caddied for last year was in the grand final of the Pennants, had to wait a little bit and decided to have an extra coffee. And so with that player already being keyed up and ready to go because it's a grand final, and then have a second coffee of the morning, that player literally couldn't get off the tee for the first 3 holes. Finally settled down, but was too high for them. There was just too much on and up for them to be able to concentrate.
So it's about understanding what changes you I love this word, physiologically.
Yes.
It's, whether that be drinks or food or
stimulants. And depressants. Alcohol.
Yes.
A lot of people play better with alcohol in the system, which is
it
not good
calms
for
them
health,
down.
but
No,
it's a depressant, so it brings them down a level. But it's not just about substances and drinks that we have. It's also about how they prepare themselves for a game of golf, what they do the night before, how well they sleep, what they do to warm up before a game or not warm up at all.
Yeah.
So getting onto that ideal level for you personally is really important if you want to be able to have the concentration to go right the way through for your 4.5, 5 hours a game of golf, but also from the first tee. You want to be able to hit the ground running.
We can take it right back to the night before. Good sleep,
sure.
The right foods, preparing early, doing all those things that you need to test and measure to get you into that where you're standing on the first tee nice and clear.
It's about experimenting a little bit. I know one fellow I used to play a bit of golf with, might be teeing off at 12:30 in the afternoon, and he'd start his preparation at 7 in the morning. He'd wash his clubs and get keyed up, and get out there, and he'd be over keyed up.
Nervous energy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that didn't suit him. He'd probably better off doing what he would normally do on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
On a Saturday, turn up a half hour early, have a few hits in the nets, a few putts, and chill out a little bit more.
Yeah.
So we are all different. Some players are better off getting to the course fairly early. Rory McIlroy will turn up a half hour before his tee time, and he'll be loose and ready.
Absolutely.
It's all right to be young and supple like he is. Yeah. It takes me a lot longer to get going.
But again, it's about knowing what's the first thing that we see in fundamental number 5. He has a quote here from Socrates.
Yep.
Know thyself.
Yeah, for sure.
That is fundamental to this fundamental, is that everybody's different. You've got to know what you're like. You've got to know what works for you.
Yeah.
But finding out your optimal playing self is super important, really, isn't it?
It really is. And it is all about yourself, because we're all different.
And learning all of these philosophies and strategies and mental game techniques to be able to help you massage yourself through it the day, because you are going to have times when you make a couple of birdies and you get into that excitement mode where you start thinking about future results and different things. So it's about then being able to identify that, be aware of it, and then bring yourself back into, okay, let's get back into my optimum state here, because this is...
There's an interesting stat on tour, the bounce back stat.
Yeah.
Okay, now Tiger at his prime was king of that stat. Anytime he'd have a bogey or a double, he'd bounce back. Well, not every time, but he was the highest percentage of bouncing back with a birdie.
And unfortunately, a lot of us, I mean, how often in the past have you made birdie
and then give it back?
Made bogey.
We've all
Do you know
done
what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a real indication of being here and then going into a much different state.
I call that the give back stat.
Yeah, it's the worst. But you know, this particular fundamental is really addressing that in being able to maintain that optimal playing self.
Mm-hmm. So it's about preparing yourself the best way for you.
Yeah.
From the night before, if that's part of your routine, visualizing doing well and hitting good golf shots, preparing yourself with sleep and with better foods,
nutrition,
hydration, and drinks. Keeping those levels through the game of golf and finding out what that even keel is. Some people are a little bit more energetic, some people are more languid, and the key is not to have the spikes.
Yeah.
The up and down of emotion. And obviously that's challenging because you're going to have some good holes and bad holes. Being able to manage yourself emotionally when we're on that roller coaster of golf is the challenge and the beauty of golf, isn't it?
That is the challenge.
And we were talking about Leighton Hewitt and how he's so high, so up, and that's his personality. But like I said,
as I said, it's a little bit easier in that particular sport because it's a reaction-based sport.
It's a reactive sport.
Boom, boom, boom.
And we have all this downtime between shots, and being able to manage your emotions and your thoughts between those is an art, and it takes practice.
It does.
It's not something that you can just pick up and go with. And typically, I find that older players are better at that. They're more willing to have a chat and just socialise between, and they've learnt how to switch on and off.
Yeah.
Whereas, how many teenagers are out there? They're sulking along. If they've had a bad hole, you know how they're doing. You can tell about 200 metres away.
But even if they're playing really well, they're just focused and just almost too intense.
They're not giving themselves a break.
They don't give themselves a break to be able to relax, and everything is outcome based reactions because it's like hit a bad shot, hit a great shot, I'm back. You know,
and you could probably do that for 9 holes. And if you're really keyed up for it, maybe you can do it for 18 holes. But think about the future. Anyone that wants to hit tour one day and playing 72 holes in 4 days,
plus
imagine
the round, plus the pro-am, and then do 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks back to back.
Yeah. You're going to get emotional and physical wrecks out there. You just can't do it that way. You need to be able to manage your emotions, manage your levels, and like any part of golf, whether it be the physical side, the technical side, the tactical side, or the mental side, they take practice and work.
It does. So there you have it, fundamental number 5, sort of broken down by the Aussie Golf Pros. Just as important as every other fundamental, know your best player self. Dig a little bit deeper and have a look at this sort of stuff yourself.
Find your ideal level, emotionally and intellectually.
Absolutely. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching.